Hey guys, I'm back doing another one. I'm on the next step. Next step I'm going to do is go ahead and pull the intake off here, get out of the way so I can get my harness out, which I'm trying to pull the harness to make a standalone for the LS swap. That way my gauges work. But I'm making these videos for my grandsons in case they want to follow along. So if I do the, lefty righty tighty, lefty loosey righty tighty, then, that's for my grandsons and stuff. People like us that's been working on cars for years may find that kind of stupid, but that's what I'm doing because I'm doing this for them. So it may seem a little out of the ordinary or whatever, but that's what I'm doing. But tonight I'm going to go ahead and yank the intake, get all this stuff out of the way, that way I can get more access to the wiring harness. Try to get down there and pull the harness up because I still got to get off the transmission, the O2 sensors and stuff like that. So I'll be yanking the intake tonight. But my wife will be recording me because I can't seem to hold the camera and work at the same time. I haven't learned how to use 2 feet yet, if you know what I mean. But I'm going to start yanking and pulling it down, do the best I can with it. But here.
Plus, it'll show me to learn what he's doing. And what are you pulling out now?
Gotta get the belt off.
You gotta get the belt off?
So we can start pulling the alternator out of the way.
But isn't that fan in your way?
No.
Oh, no, the alternator's right up there.
Yeah. I'm going to snatch the alternator out of the way so I can get down to the intake.
This is interesting. All I know about cars, he has shown me.
One thing you do need to do is you pull stuff off, put the bolts back in it. That way you don't lose them. Because people that's never worked on cars before, they take the bolts off and throw them in a pile and they can't figure out where to put them.
True.
So as long as you put them back in the same spot, you'll know where they go.
Right. That looked like it was hard, and it wasn't that hard.
Bad thing about working on cars at night, the bugs all in your head.
You have to get one of those things, those wax buckets that you light up, keeps the bugs away.
Yeah, citronella.
Yeah.
Bye, alternator.
Uh-oh.
And of course there's the drain, the antifreeze down there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you just don't want to dump it on the ground because it's hazardous, especially the animals and stuff. And I'm an animal lover, so I don't want nothing to happen to my animals.
Oh, anybody's animals.
Yeah, nobody else's animals either, even wild animals. But you gotta drain it down so you can even get the intake off. Then we get little spits.
And what is it that you're doing now?
Pulling this off the thermostat so it's stop the suction and any freezer for drain filter.
Okay. Is it?
When you deal with 170,000 miles.
It's done.
Alright, next up, you gotta get the fuel line off, or you got the coolant off, or antifreeze if you live up north. In the south, we call it coolant. But I've had this fuel line remover for probably about 25 years, at least. They have some out there that are real garbage, so watch which ones you get. Do not throw this out. These are really good to have. But you just get it, put it on, and pop the fuel line off. But most people are smart enough to actually bleed off the fuel line. Make sure there's no pressure on it before they do that. Do that. Screwdriver go. Where'd that little screwdriver go?
Open the toolbox. Right there.
There it is. Alright, we're gonna hit the shredder valve, make sure there's no fuel pressure in it, because I don't feel like taking a bath with gas. Of course, if Hercules hadn't put this on, some of the older ones had this shredder valve for the fuel line. The newer ones do not. So all you can do is turn the engine over and let it get rid of the fuel pressure. But you have to disconnect the fuel regulator. No fuel line. No fuel pressure. You have to get rid of the fuel pressure regulator. Relay. Fuel pressure relay. Push it in. Relax it. Pull it out.
Cool.
Now you got your fuel line on. Get out your way. And no. Taking a bath fuel of gas.
There's fuel going out of the line.
Okay, it's gonna drip. There's nothing you can do about it.
Okay.
I've had this thing probably half as long as I've been alive. But they have some little folding ones and they don't ever seem to work that well.
You could tell by the packaging.
Yeah, it's pretty rotted. Next thing, get this puppy off of here. Try to put them off. Get rid of all these lines. Get the hoses and stuff off. Gotta get the accelerator cable off. Which I'm probably going to reuse this when I do the LS swap. Because if I don't do the drive-by-wire, I can do drive-by cable, and I can still use this. Because it's short enough, it'll come up here and drop in.
Okay.
And I can use it from there.
Okay.
Another thing is, if you haven't done 40 trips to your Advance, O'Reilly's, AutoZone, Hair Care Tire Center, you haven't worked on a car. About the 40th time you get to the parts store to get something you need, or spend hours chasing tools to do what you need, since they have a specialty tool for this, but I'm too cheap to buy one. So I fight with it. I'll fight with it, fight with it, fight with it, fight with it until I go in the house because I'm mad. But you will work and work and work and work and work and do. But if you want to save money and do it cheap, that's the choice you do. But this is one of the weird ones. This way you can't get to it. But you gotta get all these lines off before you pull them off. When you get the intake off.
And what's that, the clamp?
Yes, clamp the way it's down in here. Because Ford thought it was funny to mess with people. Put it down where you can't get to it. There we go. Now it's kind of in here where you can get to it. But once you fight with it and use a few choice words and some high descriptive adjectives and a few other things to get it off. But like I said, if you don't do 30-40 trips to your local hair care and tire center, Advance O'Reilly's and stuff like that, then you haven't worked on your car. Bad thing is, I started working on cars before YouTube, where they showed you how to do stuff. It was, let me take it apart and pray to God I can put it back together. This wasn't no, oh, well, I got YouTube tell me step by step how to do it. Yeah, we didn't have that. When I was growing up, you took it apart, and if you couldn't get it back together, it sat in your car for 6 months till you found somebody that could. So that's a good thing about YouTube now. All you gotta do is pull up YouTube and say, hey, I want to change the spark plug on a freaking Tesla that don't have them. But, you know, a lot of these kids don't know that. Just like they don't know there ain't no spark plugs in a diesel or electric car. That's how it works. As you get stuff apart, come on, baby, work with me. Just part of getting stuff apart and doing. Fun part's just doing. Figure it out as you go. Get it apart and pray to God you can put it back together.
You don't have a problem with that.
Nope. Boy, I'm pretty good at reassembling stuff. I snatch it apart.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gee, if that bolt don't fit, that one will. Alright. Come on, baby. Look at me. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you. I appreciate you a lot. And you want to be careful with your vacuum lines because you might be able to use them for your swap. You don't want to snatch them and break them and tear them up. Because vacuum lines are fun to figure out. A lot. Some of these kids, if they get away from the Xbox and the PlayStations, they might actually figure out they can have some fun by working on cars. There we go. Vacuum lines, PCV. Got this off, got that off. Get rid of this one. This goes to the intake. Bye-bye.
But you say be careful pulling the holes, and you just yanking them off.
I'm being careful. It's like taking care of a woman. You snatch on them and wait till they beat on you and break something.
Oh my God.
Alright, let's get rid of this bracket. It's covering the EGR tube. That's the aftermarket intake. This is not one of the good ones on my 08. I went to the factory. Well, not the factory, I went to the Ford dealer. Sorry. Went to the Ford dealer and got the proper P71 intake. Not this eBay special. Now this is one of the better ones. See how tall the runners are? This is one of the better ones. Now they have ones that have short runners and they're really wide. They're garbage. I put it on here, and problem is, the minute I passed 70 miles an hour with the pedal to the floor, it would start slowing down on me because it couldn't get enough air. The thing was garbage. It might work on a civilian model, but does not work on the P71 police interceptor. So, but I did find this one on eBay. It's got a little bit taller intake. It's got taller runners. It's a little bit higher than the other one. It works a lot better. It really does. It works way better. It actually works pretty close to the way the original one does, because I paid $351 for the original one. Now that American Muscle has the, I think it's American Muscle has the aftermarket one that's $251 at the time of this recording. So that's what happens when you do stuff. Alright, where's my wrench? Here it is. Funny thing is, every single nut and bolt on this puppy, every single one of them is metric, except the EGR. It's an 1 1/16 inch.
Wow.
The EGR tube is an 1 1/16 inch. It's not 36 millimeters, it's not 34 millimeter, whatever. It's literally an 1 1/16 inch. It's the only SAE on this whole car. The only one. Now I know because I've changed a few of these. It's the only SAE on the whole thing. Just get the EGR off. Yeah, it sounds like nails on a chalkboard. Make your skin crawl. Ooh, look. Hi, buddy. Goodbye. Get out of my car. No free rides. No gas and ass, that's it. Nobody rides for free. Okay, there's my 8, which is an 8. Yep. Gas or ass, nobody rides for free. And I didn't need that. They just go ahead and go on down under the car. It's fine. If you ever worked on a car, you picked up many a socket. If you haven't, you've been playing PlayStation. You never got off the couch.
You mean like your grandsons?
Oh yeah, the grandsons. That's why I'm doing the videos for them. In case they ever decide to do something besides gas and ass, maybe they'll
Learn something.
follow something and do something like I do. Hey, this is my first swap, but this is not my first engine. This is not my first transmission. I've been working on cars since I was 10. I started working on cars before I started working on bicycles. Go figure that one. And my first thing I ever worked on was a 72 Buick Electra. Changed out the fuel pump for my uncle because his back wouldn't let him get on the car, so he told me how to do it. And he walked me through it, and I did it. And when the car cranked up, let me tell you something. That feeling of elation, it's like no other. Something was busted, ready to go. Ready for the scrap yard. In your eyes.
According to his mom, the first thing he took apart was his crib.
Yeah. I've always been good at taking stuff apart.
Oh, yeah.
I just had to learn how to put it back together. That was the fun part. But I started working on cars before I started working on BMX bikes. One part is just do it and learn. If you don't never take it apart, you'll never figure out how to get it back together. And the best thing you had, I bought it in '96. I bought a 72 Chevelle convertible. Half the back end was rotted apart and the engine was stripped. Literally, when I got it, it had one head on it. Well, it had the pair of heads on it, had one valve cover on it. And I bought it for $1,200 bucks, which you can't get that now for less than 10 grand. But I got that, $1,200 bucks. I spent another $1,200 bucks over the weekend on it. My cousin and I put it back together. It was the first major anything with an engine other than light repairs that I learned. We got it back together and it ran. But when we got it together, couldn't figure out why it wouldn't run. Finally got it back together. Well, somebody tightened down they decided to tighten down the rockers on the valves like a Ford 300. They just tighten everything down all the way. Well, anybody knows on a small block Chevrolet, you adjust them, you do not tighten them all the way down. Well, they did. And 1357, every one of the push rods were broken down the intake. So I got to go buy an intake gasket as well, along with push rods. That thing literally ran off of 2, 4, 6, and 8. It was loud. Man, it made so much racket. Jesus, it was loud. The neighbor came out to see what was going on, but it ran. So once we yanked the driver's side valve cover, we pulled it off. Hey, look up here. We pulled the valve cover off, and we found there was no push rods. We couldn't figure out how it was running off the one side of the engine, but it did. It's a Chevrolet, so you know, Ford tough with Chevy stuff. So we ended up yanking the intake, putting new push rods in it, getting everything adjusted fine. That thing ran so good. I had a 97 S10 at the time with a 4.3, and that Chevy Chevelle I had got better gas mileage than my new, at the time, S10 got. Yeah, it's a truck, but still many trucks that kind of makes no sense. That's how they did stuff back then.
Is that intake any good?
Yeah, still a good intake.
But that's not going on the LS, right?
No, this is the plenum.
Oh.
This is the plenum, it's the upper part of the intake. That's the lower part of the intake. This is to this engine. This doesn't do anything for that.
Okay.
And next part is to get gotta get the coil packs out of it. Of course, I've already disconnected everything. So we get the coil packs out of it, then we can snatch the intake off. Which, the swivel helps. I've seen people try to do this where they snatch the whole fuel rail off, but you don't need to. You don't need to touch the fuel rail whatsoever.
Don't need to touch what?
The fuel rail.
Okay.
I've seen people snatch a fuel rail because it's a little bit back here and you don't need to. You can get the coil packs out with just a swivel. See? A swivel. Swivel. Well, some people are like, what's a swivel? It's swivel. Yeah, I'm a commodian. I'm one of them commodians.
If you're enjoying this video, you could hit like and subscribe.
Yeah, you could.
It helps us a lot.
Well, like I already said, I'd really like to do one that's a LS and a Hemi, and I'd really like to do one that's an inline 6 turbo. That'd be cool. That's different.
Well, we're going to be doing the one when we put the LS in.
Well, this is going to be the LS.
No, I mean when this is out and we put the LS in.
Yeah, I'm building the LS3 for that.
Yep.
But I want to do one that's the LS3.
Yeah, you wanted
Not
the...
a Pi 3 and LS3.
Yeah, the 3 Vics.
I want to do the one that's a Hemi. I'd like to do one that's a 5.0 swap.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm doing the LS because it's cheaper. Because the 5.0s are still kind of expensive. And then I really like to do one that's an inline 300. Old Ford engine. Inline 300 because they got so much torque. And I watched on Power Nation, they did one that was a turbo, and that thing put out 500 something horsepower and some ridiculous torque. I'd like to put one of those in here too, because that'd be cool. That's different. And maybe on down the road, I'll piss some people off and maybe put a 2JZ in one. To make people mad.
Why would you get them mad?
Why not? That's how you get people to watch you. I hate that guy, I'm going to watch him. I watch it all the time on YouTube because I'm an avid YouTube watcher. Oh my God, I hate that guy. He did that, but they watch him. Look at Finnegan with the 2JZ and the Death Metal Charger. They hate him because he did that, but they watch him.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. It makes no sense, but you know, when has humans ever made sense? Come on, work with me. Work with me. Work with me. Oh, Susie, work with me. Come on, Susie. All right, there we go. All right, next side. Oh, Susie, rotten crotch, work with me. All right, next side. Not hard, 7mm extension. Swivel, you can pull them out. Talking to my grandsons, not you guys. I'm assuming you guys have done something other than gas and ass. My grandsons haven't. They're still learning how to put gas in a car. But they want to go out on dates and stuff, but they don't know how to fix it, so they're going to do the old don't know what's going on to the female. You know, like they used to. Oh, my car's out of gas. Well, while we're at it, let's climb in the back seat.
That one didn't come out complete.
No, it left the boot. It's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, it kind of came out. It's like the condom falling off. Oh my God, it didn't come out all the way.
Oh my God.
But
That don't need to go in the video.
why not? Oh, look. Look at Dildo. Okay.
Babe.
What? I know. I'm just playing. Thing is, most people that watch me got the same humor I got.
Yeah.
But
I'm pretty sure this lady's also watching this.
yeah, maybe.
And it could be
there's
offensive to them.
If there's a chick that watches me, she's got the same type of humor I got. So she would think it's funny also. Alright, uno más. Uno más en el pinito. Go. Got that one out.
The back one is always the difficult one.
Yeah, there's always no room. Always no room. I'm gonna cram it in the firewall. What the fuck?
It's just a bug, babe.
Yeah, well, I don't like certain bugs. They bother me. Especially when they crawl on me.
See, that one came out with the boot.
Yeah, these two didn't. What the hell happened to this boot? This ain't the one that got repaired. They trimmed on the boot. which I don't know why they would do that, because this is the cylinder that threw the plug out. Well, that might have been why.
Why?
They try to get the boot out, and it's disintegrating.
Oh.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, that was garbage. Anyways. Alright, next spot. Get the heater hose off. Alright.
Alright.
And next step's getting this heater hose off back here. That's a nightmare. You have no room. You get to do an eighth of a click at a time. Once you get this off, there's only 8 or 10 bolts you gotta get off, and the intake comes off. It's not much of a problem. But Ford likes to joke around and give you no room to work on stuff. They think it's funny.
Uh-oh. That's the heater hose, right?
Yep. It's the heater hose coming off the intake, then you have another one that runs behind it. It goes to the pipe that runs underneath. It goes to the water pump.
Ah, okay.
But this is the one that comes off the intake. Alright. Alright, it's loose. Let's see if we got room to get rid of it.
Oh.
There we go. I remove that for safekeeping. I know what it's going to do. It's going to disappear.
Why?
Because it will. If it hangs here, it's just going to drop off and hit the ground or end up on the frame rail. Alright. Now this harness back here with the O2 sensors and stuff we can't get to. That's the reason why I'm moving the harness, the intake. So.
What's that hose that's coming this way?
This is the EGR2 that goes from the manifold over there.
Oh. That doesn't get removed before the intake?
Nope. Don't mess with that because it's so fun to get on.
Okay.
To deal with when it comes from the exhaust manifold over there.
Oh.
So, okay. Next step, get the intake off. This is a 10 millimeter. And there is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10-ish bolts. You snatch, and the intake comes off.
Oh, these bugs are crazy tonight.
Yep. Well, this is time of year in June working on a car at night. The bugs will tear you up.
Well, they ain't bothering me, but I see them flying all around.
We're not supposed to be working on the cars where I live. So that's why I do it at night or on the weekends. When man just stops around. When you really want to do it, you do it. You get it done some way or another. One way or another, you'll do it.
That's the bad part about not having a garage.
Yep. Eventually, maybe I will have one.
Huh?
Maybe eventually I will have one.
Yep.
Maybe I'll be able to afford one.
Yep.
Maybe something like this takes off where I can afford one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can get a garage where I can actually do it. And I can finally do all the swaps I want to do and modifications and stuff. Good. Thank you. No, thank you. Come on now. Work with me. Work with me. Please. Please. Mother, may I? Simon says. Come on now. Simon says.
Don't want to let go.
Wow. There. Are you serious? There we go. Thank you. Mother May I did. I think that's what it was. May I? Yes, you may. If you're old enough, you remember that one. If you're not, then oh well. Figure it out. Google it. Mother May I? What does that mean? Google will tell you everything.
Mother Mia?
Mother may I.
Oh, Mother May I?
Mother may I? Yes, you may. You don't remember as a kid where you'd stand on one side of the wall where you wanted to take 10 steps, like, Mother may I take 10 steps? And your sibling would be like, yes, you may, or no, you won't. And you got stuck.
No.
Yeah, it's called Mother may I. I always got screwed.
You act like you an old man.
I'm old enough.
Oh, please.
Old enough to have great grandkids, so. Old enough. Old enough.
That's only because you got stepchildren.
That's not my problem.
Not because they... Don't go there. You only got one great-granddaughter.
Some days I feel 90 and some days I don't. Depends on how arthritic I am when I wake up.
That's true. You know how old you are when you wake up and your bones are all cracking.
Yep. When you wake up, you can't move because everything's going click, 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 click.
Yep.
What the? Jesus. 300 more bolts and I'll be done. Bang, 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 bang.
Keep making noise.
Bang, bang, bang. Hey, these people are running around here with, 300 decibel freaking exhaust systems. I can do a little bit of banging.
Yeah, but they're not fixing cars. Were they not supposed to?
That's beside the point. I'm a rebel. I do what I want. I'm a rebel. Yeah. You think Street Outlaw cares when they go out there in the middle of the night running 200 mile an hour down the back street? They don't care.
It is so hot out here. The wind is so still. I mean, there's not a bit of breeze.
Well, we didn't move far enough north. I have a problem.
By the way, we're in North Carolina.
I have a problem with heat, steam, all that good stuff. That's the reason why I left out of South Florida. I lived in Fort Lauderdale. And I didn't move far enough north because I live in North Carolina, which is not as bad. It's nowhere near as bad. My cousin's been here like 30 years. He's like, oh my God, it's worse than Florida.
No, it ain't.
No, it's not. You've been gone too long. 3:30 every day. I mean, you can set your watch by it. Every day is an afternoon thunderstorm, then you can't breathe from the steam. The land of concrete.
Now they having hurricanes already in Florida.
Yeah.
Hurricane Brett, I think it is.
The land of concrete.
Yep.
Concrete and pavement. You can't breathe. Till when you step out at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's still 88, 89, 90 degrees, and 100% humidity, and your glasses fog over and you can't breathe. It's like breathing through a hot, wet towel.
Just like your cousin said, it never snow out here.
I'm so glad I left there, but it's still pretty bad here too.
And when we first moved out here, man, it snowed so bad.
Yeah, no one is like, oh, it don't snow here. It don't never snow here. About every 7 years. Yeah, when
we moved out here in 2004. Oh my God, the first snow we seen here.
No, in 01, when we first moved out here originally.
Yeah.
I got pictures of snow up to my ankle.
Yeah.
Up to almost to my knees. People are like, oh, it don't snow here, but it doesn't. It just lightly turns white.
Yeah.
And by noon, it's gone.
No, it was bad.
Nope. When I moved here, it was pretty bad. We bought a house and I was working on it, so I was staying with my cousin while I was working on it out in the country. He literally brought me in there every morning. I'm from South Florida, don't know how to drive in the snow. So he'd bring me in and I'd work on the house. And he'd pick me up in the afternoon on the way home from work. I'm from South Florida, I don't know how to drive in, a couple feet of snow. I did that for a while. That was fun. A couple weeks of that though, I jumped on a train, went right back to Florida to see my wife. A few weeks without seeing my wife, I wasn't happy. Now I've been married 23 years. Alright. It's amazing, most people don't make it 6 months anymore. I've been married 23 years. Alright. Got this, that, and the other.
You got them all out?
Right.
Yep.
There it is.
But you left the screw over here on one.
That doesn't matter. That's the fuel rail.
Watch it, there's fuel coming out.
Yeah. Plus a few other things.
There you go.
There's the
There it
intake.
goes. That's the intake.
There's the intake.
It is out. Ooh.
Takes a few bolts and a little bit of sweat. A few extra coarse wounds.
Wow, that looks bad, babe.
Well, I mean, the thing's got 170,000 miles on it. It's not going to be pretty.
It's not really that bad.
Looks like it was leaking right there a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Look at the other one.
Yeah, you can see the buildup in here from the
Yeah.
age. The runners are kind of built up. But it's not as bad as these newer GDI engines, these direct injection engines.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can see where the fuel injectors spray.
Yeah.
It's cleaning them edges where it sprays. That's where the injector sprays down to mix with the air. But these new GDI engines, direct injecting engines.
Look at that one over there, how rusty it is. See the corner one over there?
That's the coolant. That's the coolant.
And look at this one over here.
Yeah, that's the coolant. The coolant overflows across
Yeah.
the intake in the back and it'll cross the intake in the front. Because it goes in one head, goes over to the head, goes back down to the water pump into the block, goes into the engine. Oh, look.
What?
There's my coolant head sensor. Now when it goes bad, your car don't want to run, but you can't get to it because it's under the intake. Isn't that gorgeous?
Uh-huh.
They could have put it on the outside of the head so you can get to it because they want you to bring it back to the dealer and spend a few $1,000s on nothing. Hey, there's my knock sensor. Look at that. Just like an LS. Hey, how about that? Same era. The LS put the knock sensors in the intake. So didn't Ford. Go figure that one. So can't tell me they went in cahoots. Alright, that's gonna cut it. That's it for tonight. Now I can get to the harness in the back, get to the O2 sensors and stuff. Work on a little bit more so I can get down to the transmission, get all that part of the harness out. I'll pull the whole harness out and make it a standalone for, get my gauges working and stuff for the original gauges and go from there. That way, once the LS is in here, I can still hook up the gauges or the sensors from the Ford engine, so my gauges will work. But it's another step forward. But if something you want to follow along on, click like and subscribe. We'll go from there. But that's it for this episode. Thank you.